welcome to Justin's Scrap Metal Recovery. I'm Justin. Big thank you to all our subscribers and people that watch all over the world. We really appreciate you, and it means the world to us that you're watching and enjoying the videos we do. To all the people that have said hello to me when I'm out and about scrapping, hello to you too. Pleasure to meet you. And I thought I'd just do a little video about being semi-retired at 41 years old and how I managed to get semi-retired at 41 years old. Was it hard work? Was it luck? Was it a bit of both? And tell you the process and a bit about me so you know a bit more about Justin behind all the scrap metal and how it wasn't always about scrap metal. Right, so bit about me. So let's start from the most, should we start from the most memorable thing that is worth doing? So when I was younger, I was doing athletics and cross country. You wouldn't think it now, not with my Arnold Schwarzenegger physique. Yes, I know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, I was skinny. I weighed about 8.5 stone at the age of 14, and I joined a running club called AFD in Aldershot Farnham District. I had a very good coach called Mick Woods. Anyway, we did athletics, 800 metres, stuff like that through the summer season, and cross country. And my earliest claim to fame was that I was part of the England cross country team, and my teammate was Mo Farah. And I knew Mo Farah at the age of 14, 15 years old, and we had a run together before a race, and I used to meet him at different race venues. I think he used to run for Hounslow Borough, something like that, a running team in London, and I was Aldershot. So yeah, we both did the English Schools Cross Country Championship in 1997. He came first, I came fourth, and the top 8 from that went through to the Great Britain cross country schools. Yeah, so the top 8 from each country, England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, raced together. So it was in Chepstow, 1997, and I think it was just under 5k. I think it was between 4 or 5 kilometres, the race over Chepstow's race course. And Mo Farah always leapt out at front, you know, led from the word go, and I always fell straight to the back and I worked my way through because that's how I used to race back then. And anyway, over the whole race, he came first, and I finished 10 seconds behind him and came second in Great Britain at cross country at the age of 14, 15. So that was my first claim to fame. And I'm not best mates with Mo Farah or anything like that. The last time I saw him was when I was 15 years old, but I'm proud of my achievements and my association with him, and I'm very proud of what he's managed to do for athletics. So that's my first claim to fame. Right, next notary thing. I went to school. After I left school, I went to college to do A-levels. I couldn't get the A-levels that I wanted to do because I mucked about so much in science with all my mates that I got a D in science. You know what I mean? And I wanted to do sports science, okay, but I couldn't. Even though I got a B for PE, I couldn't do sports science because I got a D for science because all we did was muck about. Mr. Dorr, our science teacher, if you're watching, I apologise. We never should have thrown those things at her, and we never should have played up so much in class. It was funny. Anyway, so yeah, finished school, went to college, ended up doing A-level English lit, and I didn't even read books. You know, I hated reading books, so I was on an English lit course, you know, and retook the science and did geography. I quite like geography, to be fair. But anyway, 6 months into it, to the horror of my mum, one day on the way back from the college, I stopped off at the Army Recruitment Centre, and I was a recruiter's dream, right? Because I was physically fit, I could run like the wind, and I could pass the barb test, which means I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to do, really. So I went down there, walked in and said, "Hello, I'd like to join the army, please." And he went, what part of the army? I just said, the army part, yeah, anything to do with the army. So I sat down and I watched some videos. And I joined the army, joined the Royal Corps of Signals as an installation technician, fixing telephones, soldier first, but fixing telephones, doing fibre optics and such. So anyway, I come back from college and I said to my mum, I said, Mum, I need 100 quid. She goes, why do you need 100 quid? I said, I've just joined the army. She goes, what? You're at college? I went, no, I quit college. She goes, what do you mean you quit college? I said, yeah, I quit college, join the army. I'll go in 2 weeks for my selection course, I need a suit. So she had right go at me there. She goes, I can't believe you've done that, you haven't even told me you're joining the army. I said, well, I'm joining the army and I need 100 quid. Could you give me 100 quid for a suit? So she gave me 100 quid for a suit, bless her. And off I went. So I joined the army and I passed out my passing parade. I got best at physical training at 17 and a half years old at ATR Basenborn. From there I went to Blandford, did my trade training and went to a working unit in Aldershot. That was year 2000, 2001. And then 9/11 happened, you know, with the Twin Towers and terrorists. Lots of speculation about actually what happened. I'm not going to get into that. But I was in the army at the time. And I remember going to work at our working unit in Aldershot. And the commanding officer said, everyone gather round, everyone gather round. And he stood on top of a Land Rover, opened up a big scroll from GCHQ. We sent the signal. And I said, in 28 days, we're going to Iraq. So you need to tell your family and friends and everything else. And I thought he was joking. And then 28 days later, he weren't joking because I was in Iraq. And yeah, starting a 6-month tour of Iraq. What was it? It was probably the middle, I'd say March, April time, 2002 for 6 months. We're out there doing guard duties, and my main roles were going around setting up headquarters for officers when they come over so they can set all the main communications out for everyone. So you had the infantry and the engineers that had the hardest job, going in there, making sure everything's safe. And then we were classed as support trades, so we go in there and then set up all the offices and everything else. But it was still graft, and we're, you know, still at danger every day being out there. So we did that for 6 months, got heat stroke halfway through, decided it would be a good idea not to drink water one day and just drink slush puppies on a day off in Kuwait. Didn't work out too well. Woke up a week later with a, what do they call it, with a thing in your arm, trying to hydrate me. So that was fun. So anyway, I come back from that, did a few more years in the army. I did 8 years in the army, and then decided it wasn't for me. Okay, and that was the end of my army days. Whilst in my last year of leaving the army, I discovered I had a passion for singing, and I learnt guitar and everything else. And while I was in the army, I started putting together a set, and I was going around the pubs and clubs singing and playing guitar. And then as that built up, I got into DJing and karaoke, and then turned it into a really good business. And I built that up whilst I was in the army. So as soon as I left the army, I was self-employed, you know, my own businessman. So I left the army around 2008 and went full freedom mode. You know, full freedom mode. Got myself a caravan. I'd already signed up for a mortgage on a house and rented it out just so I could get on the property ladder before I left the army, because when you're self-employed, you have to have all your books with you. So I thought, no, the best bit of advice I ever got given was by a guy called Al Stacey, an ex-Marine. Al, if you're watching, best advice you ever gave me, thank you. He said, get yourself a mortgage before you leave, because they'll use your army wage to determine how much they lend to you. So I got a house on a mortgage, massive mortgage, and rented it out. And then what I did, I got a caravan, and I was going from pub to pub, living in the caravan in the car parks, and living on campsites, just gigging night after night. And when I mean gigging 7 nights a week and twice on a Sunday. I'd sing and play guitar at a pub in Farnborough on a Sunday, and then I'd be over Basingstoke doing a DJ set and a karaoke set in the evening. So it was full out, flat out, great money, great time, but it was just as they brought the smoking ban in. When they brought the smoking ban in, pubs were falling left, right, and centre. Work was drying up, but I was still getting work, and I'd made some contacts at being a DJ, and I made good contact. Who gave me lots of work, and what they would do, there'd be a disco agency, and people would ring them up to book. He'd have a load of DJs on his list, and then he'd just give out the gigs left, right, centre, and take a commission of each. So then I ended up DJing in London a lot of the time, and I did that for a few years, but then that fizzled out, and I wanted to do something else. And that something else was, I didn't care what it was, as long as I was working for myself, self-employed, doing things on my own terms. So that's when I became an ice cream man. I went up to London, bought the dodgiest ice cream van in Old Bedford from the dodgiest person you could ever imagine in the dodgiest part of London, right? And I got it for a deal, and come back and started selling ice cream. Knew nothing about ice cream, didn't know how any of it worked, licenses or anything. But started going out, driving around the houses, selling ice cream. And it was really good fun. You know, you'd only work a few hours a day, you make good money, but then all these things I was doing, DJing and ice cream and everything, it was all weekend work mainly, and some stuff during the week. The DJing was evenings, and during the day, you know, I was ice creaming, selling down beaches and stuff. So it did take up a lot of the fun time every day. You couldn't really do much. But I was an ice cream man for many years. Learned all the areas in Southampton, which perfectly set me up for being a scrap man. So what happened was, I was selling ice cream, and then COVID happened. Everyone remembers COVID, absolute nightmare. But what it did, it gave me time to reevaluate what I wanted to do in life. So I couldn't really sell ice cream because it was COVID and everything else, and it's not really a very important thing to do, is to go out in the ice cream van, sell ice cream to people during COVID. So I thought about what I wanted to do, and I watched YouTube channels, and I watched scrappers on YouTube, and I knew nothing about the scrapping industry, but it really interested me. So I thought, I'm going to do this. So we started with a little car, and I said, no, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the copper and the brass. I won't get all of this light iron, I'll just get the copper and brass, which didn't work out. And I soon realised I needed to get some money together for a small van to start doing it. And now back then I was on my arse for money, and there was no spare money about. We were just paying our bills, And I managed to scrape together £1,000 for one of those disability Renault Kangaroos with the ramps at the back. Got one of those because it could take a couple of washing machines and something else. So I bought that, used that for a month, earned my money back, saved some more money, and then bought a Transit Connect. Now on the Transit Connect I could fit 6 appliances in, and some microwaves and some radiators and stuff like that. Use that. Then what did I get after that? I think I got a tipper truck. Got a Toyota Dyna tipper truck. And then that's when scrap metal was at its best. It was a couple of years ago. Prices were sky high. You were getting 300 and something pound for a ton of shearing, and you were getting £200, over £200 for a ton of light iron. And there was loads of scrap about. I'd be going out every day. You know, you'd be making hundreds of pounds every day because there's that much scrap. It's not like that now, but that's what it was. And then during that time, we had a good run of, I'd say, between 6 months to a year, absolutely smashing it out day after day for 6 months and a year, and managed to pay our debts off and stuff like this and become good with money. Whereas before, like most people, struggling on our ass with credit cards, with overdrafts, just like everyone, mortgage, family to support, So really worked our way out of the trenches onto the top of the hill kind of thing, And then prices started going down, and then I was in and out of scrap. I thought, no, I'll get a little van and do this and do that. And then this time last year, I'd actually completely walked away from scrap metal. I'd said I was going to retire, which is, you know, as well as this video being a story about my life, it's how I've become semi-retired at 41. Could be fully retired, but I'm choosing to be semi-retired, and this is the story of how we got there. So yeah, this time last year, me and the missus jumped in our car, went to Portugal, and we had a dream of buying some land down in Portugal. So we drove. I drove all the way to Portugal basically in our SUV. We went Portsmouth to France, and I drove all the way through France, all the way through Spain, all the way to Portugal. And if you want to know how long that takes, with only 2 hours rest, it takes 23 hours. So we got down there and had a solicitor lined up for our tax codes and loads of properties viewed up to look at. And then we went to the campsite we were on. And I said to him at the campsite, it's a really nice campsite. It's like massive swimming pool, palm trees, all gated, lovely part of central Portugal, right near the border between Portugal and Spain. It was really, really nice in Portugal, a place called Idala Nova. And we went to the campsite, and I said, oh, how much is it to stay here then? And he goes, well, if you want to stay here per night, it's like 15 euros. I thought, that's cheap. You know what I mean? It's like, what, 11 quid, 12 quid in UK money? Well cheap. And I said, well, do you have like longer contract terms? And they said, yeah. They said, if you want to stay here 3 months, 6 months, or a year, or for a year, and you sign up a year's contract, it's 100 euros a month to stay on the campsite. And this campsite has got massive swimming pool, palm trees, pool house, restaurant, bar, basketball places, got all your washing blocks, toilets, sinks, washing machines, tumble dryers. Really, really nice haven of a place. Best campsite I've ever been to, and especially the cheapest money-wise as well. So I thought, well, we cancelled all these viewers, and I said, well, what we're going to do then is whenever we want to go to Portugal, whenever we want to travel, we'll just use the 90-day rule in Europe. So we'll go down there, and we'll stay on the campsite, and we'll stay there for 90 days, come back, 90 days in the UK, 90 days in Portugal. Lovely. So that's something we're going to be doing in the future. And when we do that, we'll get a camper van or a motorhome or something, maybe a caravan even. And when we're ready to do that, we'll film that, and that'll be part of our vlog as well as the scrap metal. So yeah, that's the story of what we were doing up to a year ago. And then, as you know, I've obviously come back to scrap, and I started this channel, Justice Scrap Metal Recovery. And it's come full circle really, because I started scrapping by watching YouTube, other scrappers on YouTube, and now I've got my own YouTube channel. Massive thank you to all you subscribers and all the people that watch, even if you're not subscribed, and the people that have gone on my Buy Me a Coffee page and bought us a coffee. You know, really appreciate it. You're all amazing, and without you, you know, I wouldn't be doing these videos. So thank you very much. So now, a bit more about what our plans are for the future, what you can expect from the channel, and what it feels like to be semi-retired at 41. So what we're up to now, the missus works a couple of days a week at her job, and I've took my hours right back to working a maximum 4 days a week, and on those 4 days a week I work 3 to 4 hours a day, and that's it really. And you know, any money I can get from that, you know, is a bonus. But we've got other things going on in our lives that earn us money and can support ourselves with passive income and stuff. It hasn't always been like this for the majority of my life. The majority of my life, I've worked 6, if not 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, just trying to put bread on the table, pay the bills, and even then, some months it wasn't enough. So to come full circle through working hard, this and that, you know, we've recently been able to pay our house off as well. So I signed up for this house 17 years ago, and 25-year mortgage, and managed to pay it off in 17 years. So I'm very proud of that. And that's one big thing we don't have to worry about anymore, a mortgage or rent, because I know the interest rates now are terrible out there. So we're in a position now where we can take it easy. You know, can't fully retire and not have any worry kind of thing, but can certainly be semi-retired, only work sort of 10 to 15 hours a week, if that, and be able to support ourselves and live well. So that's what we're doing at the moment, and that's the situation. Now, a lot of you out there might be thinking, oh, there's not as many videos out, or this or that. Well, the reason for that is, one, there's not a lot of scrap out there, there's lots of competition, and two, obviously, I'm working half the amount of time that I was. We will always be scrappers. I will always have my scrap truck. Even if I go out one day a week for a few hours, we'll always be doing it in some aspect. Just depends how much we get, depends on how much footage we put out. So don't worry, scrapping videos will always be coming. Even if I'm an old boy with a Zimmer frame, I'll still be able to pick microwaves up, hopefully, in 20 years. But yeah, so where the channel is going is we're always going to be doing scrapping videos, but like I mentioned with the travelling, we will at some point be doing travelling videos as well, vlogging our trips abroad, bringing you along for the ride. So yeah, so that is my story. Yeah, that's my story from the age of 14 years old to the age of 41 years old. Had some good times, some bad times, and some very funny times. And there's been times where we've earned a lot of money, and there's been times where we've had no money at all. So yeah, and that's to anyone who wants to retire early. There is a certain amount of luck to it. Okay, you know, you're not sat here mastermind of the world taking over the world. There's a certain amount of luck and a hell of a lot of hard work. Now, as I've mentioned, I've worked my ass off for my whole life. Yeah, absolutely. At times, multiple times, I've been burnt out from whatever I'm doing, and I've had to pick myself back up and go working. You know, we're now at a stage, like I say, of being semi-retired where I can pick and choose when I work, which is an absolute privilege. It's a godsend, and I give thanks every day for that. My advice to anyone who wants to be semi-retired at this age or semi-retired as soon as possible is, if you're renting, stop renting, get yourself a mortgage on a house. If you can't get a mortgage on a house, or you're never going to be able to get a mortgage on a house, look at alternative lifestyles. You've got van life, you've got caravan life, but don't pay rent. Okay, it's the worst thing you can do. It's dead money. As soon as you get rid of it, the landlord's mortgage is paid. You never get that money back. With a house, you know, for the van lifers out there and everything else, one good thing about a house is if you can manage to afford to pay it off, that house goes up in value 10, 20 grand every year just by you living in it, plus your initial investment. So at any point you want to sell, you can get all that money back. And when you pay your mortgage off, like we just have, you know, you don't have to pay the mortgage or any rent, you know what I mean? So accommodation wise, if you can get a mortgage, get one, pay it off as soon as possible. Don't rent, and if you can't get a mortgage, I would say look at alternative living styles, caravans, motorhomes, maybe static park homes. Do that first, because that would probably be your biggest expense. Okay, and work-wise, don't work for someone else. Yeah, you earn a certain amount of money working for other people, but you're never going to get paid your true worth. You know, your employer employs you because you add value beyond your actual worth. Okay, you add so much value to their business and earn them so much more than you get paid. So you're earning more than your worth to that company. Okay, that's why you're employed, no matter how much you're getting paid. If you can become self-employed, do it something that's a passion. Yeah, it's not that old saying you'll never work a day in your life. You will work, because you know, anything, even if you enjoy it, if you do it long enough and hard enough, will become a burden at times. But if you find something you enjoy, you really like I did with scrapping, and that you can earn a good pound note on, then do it. So sort your living arrangement out, sort out being self-employed, start a business, anything you want to do, low overheads. Just, I've always had businesses that involve me, a bit of kit and a van. That's it. No shop premises, business rates and all this stuff. Just do it very simply and you can make a lot of money out of it. Keep doing it for years and years and years. And then before you know it, you'll wake up one morning and your bills are paid, you've got very little money coming out, you've got revenue sources coming in, and life's that little bit easier. Thank you for everyone who has watched this video to the end. I know I rambled on a bit, but I'm just trying to tell you a bit about me and give my advice to anyone out there. If I can become semi-retired at 41 years old, looking to fully retire probably in the next 10 years, if I can do that, you can do that. You know, I've got no A levels, I've got no degree or anything like that. I've got 10, 11 GCSEs, and none of them were an A. So if I could do that, you guys could do that. And like I say, to this day, my business is me, a little tipper truck, and a few tools. And that's all I need to make a living. And if I want to try and earn as much money as possible, then I'll go out all the hours God sends. And if I am happy just to make a few quid here and there, or take a week off, like this week I'm taking off. You know, I've decided I want to take the week off, I will. Then that's what I'll do. But be your own boss. Be in charge of your own money, your own destiny, and you can do it. The minute you start believing in yourself, things will start happening for you. Once again, thank you all for watching. You're all amazing. I'll see you on the next video. Probably be next week, scrapping, something like that. But take care. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Much love.